Tension fled in the House of Representatives on Tuesday as Honorable Aguocha of Abia State clashed with Speaker Tajudeen Abbas over the deteriorating health of detained IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu. Aguocha, who raised a matter of privilege, accused the leadership of ignoring his earlier appeals for urgent medical intervention for Kanu, citing reports from the Nigerian Medical Association that the separatist leader's health was rapidly declining. Speaker Abbas, however, ruled him out of order, insisting the motion was raised under the wrong procedure, though Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kanu assured that the issue would be formally presented within the week. Meanwhile, the Abia State House of Assembly has resolved to stage a peaceful march to Abuja to demand Nnamdi Kanu's release on medical and humanitarian grounds. The decision followed a motion of urgent importance moved by Deputy Speaker Austin Meregini, who with the Assembly aligned with Governor Alex Oti, Southeast governors and regional leaders in calling for federal compliance with court orders granting Kanu bail. Lawmakers also agreed to meet with National Assembly leaders to press their case and hold a joint briefing on the matter. Speaker Emmanuel Emerowa of the Abia State House of Assembly condemned the federal government's continued detention of Kanu, describing it as a violation of the rule of law and human rights. He urged President Bola Tinubu to act on compassion and justice, warning that Kanu's death in custody would further inflame tensions in the region. The parallel actions by Abia lawmakers and their counterparts in the National Assembly signal renewed pressure from the southeast to secure Nnamdi Kanu's release and medical care. As the call grows louder, Nigerians are asking hard questions. Why does the federal government continue to defy valid court orders granting Kanu bail? What justification exists for detaining an unconvicted citizen whose health is failing in custody? Has the rule of law become optional in a democracy built on justice and equity? I'll start with you, George, on the story. What is your take on this development?
First thing first, I must say that Nigeria operates under the rule of law. It is quite unfortunate that after a competent court has given a judgment or a verdict on a particular matter, the authorities, I'm talking about the executive, has refused to implement the court judgment regarding Nnamdi Kanu. Now, on the issue of the man's health deteriorating, that is not something that the government should even be delaying about, because if anything happens to Nnamdi Kanu in that detention cell, it will backfire on them. All over the world, once people who are incarcerated have some medical issues, they are taken out, given proper attention for their health, to come back before they face justice. So it is quite unfortunate that the government is acting the way they are acting. I really don't know if they actually want to do some kind of negotiation with Nnamdi Kanu, being the reason why they are keeping him against court judgment. So I must say that the House of Assembly guys and the House of Rep member, probably from Abia State, who actually came up with the issue, have done well, even though from what we understood, he did not, present the matter properly. I believe as time goes by, the proper channel will be, open for him to present the matter.
He said he has written to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. He has written to his office, and they also received that letter. So
for the Speaker to rule him out of order, I believe it is actually, they have their internal House rules. Even from what the Deputy Speaker is saying, that the matter will still be looked into. By implication, what that means is that there's a challenge there. There's a challenge. It could be as a result of the internal House rules. Let's for instance, maybe we're discussing a matter bordering on A, and you're bringing a matter bordering on B. It may not be allowed by the House rules. So what am I trying to say? The matter has not been trashed. It has not been thrown away. The matter will still be visited from what the Deputy Speaker said. So let them look for a way to present the matter properly so that the House can take a stand on it. For the Abia State House of Assembly, I must commend them. The Deputy Speaker is my friend. I know him in person. I must commend the role they are trying to play. They want to pass through the right channel. They want to visit Abuja, pass through the right channel, ensure that, their voice, is heard regarding the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Right.
We are not just talking about releasing him on sentimental grounds. A court of competent jurisdiction has, given a judgment. Then there's also the report from Nigerian Medical Association that this man's health is deteriorating. On these two grounds, the authorities have no reason keeping Nnamdi Kanu behind.
All right.
So I must appeal to the federal government for whatever it is, if for nothing, for the sake of peace in the Southeast. Because Nnamdi Kanu has a court following. And there are those who believe that without the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they'll continue to perpetrate some kind of violence in the Southeast, which is not good for Nigerian nation. We are grappling with challenges from the Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, Southwest, everywhere. One same government. So they should see a way to see how they can de-escalate some of these challenges by reaching out some political solutions can resolve some of this matter, and as a nation will move further ahead.
All right, very well. Chief Jackson Lekojo, what is your take on this matter?
Oh, let me say that today a lot of people are making mistakes by calling the issue of Nnamdi Kanu an issue of the Southeast. It's never an issue of the Southeast. Issue of Nnamdi Kanu today is a national issue, and it's a national security issue. And it is a pity that in a country where no part of this country today that we can say this is a safe place, that is to say the security situation is so tense, and we are still looking and inviting another chaotic situation from some other part of the country. No. Issue of Nnamdi Kanu today has become a national issue and is gradually turning to a global issue. If we may not know, there is no part of this world that will not find the Igbo men. There is no part of this world that will not find those people that believe seriously in what Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for. So whichever country they are, is affecting that country today in Nigeria. And just like Mr. George has said, since there is a court that has given order, what I was expecting pre-installation of Mr. President, I was so boastful, even on this platform or other platform, that definitely if Tinubu comes into office, Tinubu was going to instruct his Attorney General to quickly revisit that matter and grant this guy that bail that a court of competent jurisdiction has granted him. And to me, I was even thinking that he could use President Viat too to quickly grant him amnesty, to forgive him. Then by the time that is done, you may not really call Nnamdi Kanu to a roundtable talk. You call on the political leaders across the Southeast. Then each of the geopolitical zone of this country, one member is will join with some traditional leader, religious leader, and others. Let them do meeting with them. Let them talk to Nnamdi Kanu. What does Nnamdi Kanu want? Does Nnamdi Kanu, is he fighting to have a car? Is he fighting to build an estate? Nnamdi Kanu is fighting. What Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for, people who understand. Look at it today. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has said 3 senators from each of the states of the Federation. Then in the Southwest today, they have 18 senators. In the South-South, 18 senators. In the North Central, 18 senators. In the Northwest, 18 senators. Northeast, 18 senators. In the Southeast, 15 senators. Because they have only 5 states. And each of the other geopolitical zones, 6 states. Then Northwest, 7 states. The one of, if Northwest has 7 states, why not equally give Southeast 7 states and make it, or you make it all round? Each of the zone, we have equal numbers of states. That is part of what Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for. Have you gone to do that? He did not. He still continue to fight. Somebody, even your children, could protest in the house. If you are like giving some, say go and buy 2 trousers, you only 1 trouser, that one will one day fight you. That one will one day might even go and switch off generator that nobody is coming out of this place today. That is a protest. By the time you have something that is bothering you, there is freedom of speech, freedom of association. You can ventilate your anger within the confines of the law. But in a situation where people lost confidence, we were taught in criminology, in a situation where people lost confidence in the state, they will take to self-help. What Nnamdi is trying to do now is taking to self-help for the people of the Southeast. And we thank God, under President Muhammadu Buhari, we saw a court that granted him bail. Why not, Mr. President, now call the Attorney General of the Federation, who is equally the Attorney General of Nnamdi Kanu too, because Attorney General of the Federation is for every Nigerian, to grant this guy to stand on that bail, for this guy to have freedom. And during that freedom, you will discover that all these Monday sit at home, all this killing, a lot of things will be stopped for that period. Now, even Nnamdi Kanu has committed a crime that he will be sentenced to death, must he die in the prison before his sentence? No. Somebody, Yoruba make a proverb, they say, even if we are quarreling, even if we are fighting, it's not to the point of death. This one is enough. Immediately he raised his concern. They should allow him. He might be under surveillance, but they should allow him to be flown overseas. If there is any serious medical facilities in Nigeria, they should allow him. But that guy should not die in prison. If that guy die in prison, it will be catastrophic for the entire country. And that part of the area is relatively peaceful now, and we are still facing what we are facing today. Do we want to buy another market to join the Boko Haram, the banditry and others? No, enough is enough. I want to commend the gentleman honorable for his voice yesterday on the floor of the House of Representatives, and I want to appreciate the governor of Abia State, the member of Abia State House of Assembly. But by multiplier effect, before you know what is happening, if these people want to protest, a lot of people may join them. And if people join them from the Southeast, the Igbos of this world join them in Lagos. The Igbos of this world join them from Kano. Nigeria will not be peaceful. A court has not sentenced this guy. So why are we planning that he should die there? This guy should not die there. For the interest of every one of us, for the interest of security of Nigeria, for the interest of peace and tranquility in Nigeria, this guy should be released. He should be released.
All right. Very well. George, you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to add something to the discussion. You know, before this time, the feelers we got from the streets is that the political elites of the Southeast, have not taken this issue so seriously. They see those IPOB guys and those who are not political elites as miscreants discussing the issue of Nnamdi Kanu's release and the agitation for Biafra. So I want to commend the Abia State House of Assembly and the honorable member of House of Rep who took up this matter. I also want to urge all the other states in the Southeast, because what is affecting Nnamdi Kanu and the supporters is not just only for the people of Abia, the Imo, Enugu, Anambra, Ebonyi, they're also suffering the same thing. Let us start from here. Let the houses of assemblies of these states, let the members of House of Rep, the senators of these people, the governors, let them come out openly to discuss on this matter. Nnamdi Kanu is being selfless here. If Nnamdi Kanu is not selfless, there's nothing stopping him in negotiating for his freedom and also getting something in return. But he's fighting for the people. It is a just cause for me. It is a just cause. You might feel that it is not necessary because no country will want to easily divide itself No leader will want to be at the helm of affair, at the saddle, and see a country that is administered to divide. That is why it is difficult for them to grant him. But this is genuine agitation. Even the United Nations recognizes this. So I want to urge, what I'm asking now is for the leaders, political leaders, elected and non-elected leaders, political leaders of the Southeast or the Southeast states, to come up with a position on this matter, talking to the federal government to ensure that Nnamdi Kanu is released, if for nothing, on the basis that the man is sick. He should not be allowed to die there, because if he dies there, it becomes more of a problem. If Nnamdi Kanu dies in detention, the problem will double, much more than what we have today.
Yes. Right. Now, very quickly, I want to even state that this is not even about Southeast right now, but about what is right. And there have been precedents in this country of notable Nigerians, or non-notable Nigerians as it were, but Nigerians who are known and who were released on account of health grounds. And I'm going to mention their names because history and posterity will stand on the side of Atlantic Television Network on that day that we spoke the truth. Now, I'm going to mention their name, the reason why they were in the first place detained and why they were released. Now, first we have Colonel Sambo Datsuki, retired, who was the former National Security Advisor. He was detained from 2015 to 2019 by DSS over alleged diversion of 2.1 billion naira arms fund. And he was released on health grounds. His lawyers repeatedly argued for his release due to deteriorating health and the need for medical treatment abroad. Colonel Sambo Datsuki, retired, was released in December 2019 after several court orders citing his health and rights violations. We have Ibrahim El-Zatsky and Zinat El-Zatsky. Both of them were the leader and the wife of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, detained December 2015 after Zaria clashes. Court in August 2019 granted permission for medical treatment in India due to critical health conditions from gunshot wounds. They eventually regained freedom in July 2021 after court acquittal. Number 3, we have Olisa Metu, who was the former publicity secretary of PDP, detained in 2016 by EFCC on alleged money laundering charges. He collapsed in court, presented medical reports showing spinal cord issues requiring foreign treatments. He was granted bail in 2016 on health grounds. We have Abdul Rashid Maina, the 4th person. He was the former chairman, Pension Reform Tax Team, detained 2019 by EFCC for alleged pension fraud and claimed severe leg injury and hypertension requiring advanced care. He was granted bail in November 2019, partly on health grounds, later rearrested after jumping bail. Now we have Raymond Topmese, who was the founder, DA Communications, AIT Ray Power. Now, he was detained from 2015 to 2016 on alleged money laundering charges. The court considered his age, 65 at the time, and health grounds while granting him bail. He was released on bail in December 2015 with conditions tied to his medical status. Now, for the people who would say, oh, Nnamdi Kanu is facing charges of treason, we have Omoyele Sowore, who is the publisher of Sahara Reporters and Revolution Now convener. He was detained 2019 by DSS for alleged treason. I'll repeat it again. He was detained 2019 by DSS for alleged treason. Now, his lawyers cited health concerns and poor detention conditions in bail appeals. He was granted bail December 2019, the same year. December 2019, following sustained pressure and court orders. Now we have Glory Okoli, who was a civilian detainee accused of IPOB links. She was detained 2021 by police, illegally held for over 150 days, and civil society petitions cited deteriorating health and abuse in custody. She was released on bail March 2022. Number 8, we have Abba Jalingo, who was a journalist and activist. In 2019, he was detained by Cross River State government over treason charges. And defense team highlighted poor health and inhumane conditions in detention. He was granted bail February 2020. We have Buba Galadima, who is a politician and former Buhari's ally. He was detained 2019 briefly during post-election tensions. Family and lawyers cited his age and health in appeals for release. He was released after a few days in custody. We have Godwin Emefiele, of course, the former governor, Central Bank of Nigeria, who was detained 2023 to 2024 by DSS and later EFCC. Lawyers consistently cited health deterioration and requested medical bail. Now, although not released specifically on health grounds, health issues were central in multiple bail motions. Now, the point of reading over these 10 persons is to remind us again that it is in history that people have been released on account of bail, on account of health-related issues. Now, multiple presidents, Nigerian courts and security agencies have recognized ill health as valid grounds for temporary or conditional release, especially where prolonged detention risks life or violates human rights. This pattern strengthens humanitarian arguments for granting Nnamdi Kanu medical and conditional freedom pending trial. Now, having stated this, Jackson Lekojo, you still have something further to add. Go ahead, sir.
Yes. Having listed all those ones, I think all Nigerians today, just as I've said before, all Nigerians today, we should not take issue of Nnamdi Kanu as a Southeast issue. Issue that if it is not well managed, that it boomerangs, that it will not just boomerang against the Southeast people, that it will boomerang against all Nigerians. There is no part of this country today that you will not find nothing like minimum of 30% of the citizens that are from Igbo. And a lot of people, just look at what happened, the late Afenifere leader, the last election, despite the fact that a Yoruba man was running, but the chairman of Afenifere Council of Yoruba Council of Elders openly declared that they should vote for Peter Obi. That is for you to know that the life tribalism and other things is no longer meaningful in Nigeria. So that is to say there are a lot of other persons today that are having sympathy for this same man because they know that he's fighting for a just cause. So what I would just advise is that the Igbo Council of Elders, the women, the youth and others should put us together and rise up in unison and form a positive force that will go and stand, not in protest, but to go and appeal to the conscience of Mr. President. We have some of the best lawyers in this country today of Igbo extractions. These people should put their heads together, join their forces with the Nigeria Bar Association to go and speak to the conscience of Mr. President at the Attorney General of the Federation. People are not asking for much. It's just for Nnamdi Kanu to be freed. He can be freed, he can be coming from home to court at the end of the day before the final ruling. But let him be free. I don't think they will continue, no matter the offense they are counting against him. I don't think they can be going to court against a dead man. If Nnamdi Kanu is dead today, will they still continue the case against his ghost? No. He must be alive before they do case against him. But let him enjoy his right first. Right to good health. Let him enjoy that one first. Because wherever the family are across the globe, they won't be able to sleep. You are causing psychological trauma to people. So please, I join forces today with the already existing forces, peaceful forces, positive agendas for this guy to be freed so that people like us will not be afraid. My cousins wedded in Igbo recently. People came from my hometown because they don't know They don't know the security implication of it. But me, from Port Harcourt, I couldn't go. I told them I was sick because I know the implication of going there. But if this guy is free, a lot of people now are capitalizing on his incarceration now, and they are committing crime. If this guy is free today, all those will stop. Nigeria will be peaceful again. Igbo land, you like it or not, when you talk of commercial today, Igbo land and Igbo people cannot be taken for granted. So peace across the country. I personally appeal to Mr. President and to his Attorney General.
All right, very well.
They should expedite action, and this guy should be freed. Let them go and take treatment from wherever he trusts the doctor across the globe. He's a Nigerian. He's a Nigerian, and he will continue to be a Nigerian. And finally, on this matter, I want to say clearly that if we have our father's property, if nobody is cheating anybody, nobody will call for sharing. If all of us are managing our father's estate and we are sharing it accordingly, I don't think anybody will be protesting. But by the time somebody will say, no, we have to share this, that is to say some people are oppressing the other people.
Right.
Enough of the oppression people are shouting for in the southeastern Nigeria. Let us, no second fiddle. Nobody should play second fiddle in this country. We are all Nigerians.
All right, very well. Building on your last statement that nobody should play second fiddle in this country, and the fact that one of the things Nnamdi Kanu was crying about was marginalization of the Igbos, right? Now, I want to ask a question. Why is Sunday Igboho walking free? I have always asked this question over and over again, and I'm going to ask that question again. Why is Sunday Igboho, who was declared wanted by Malami, the then Attorney General of the Federation, wanted for treason, why is he walking free? Now, very quickly, let me give a brief insight into this. Sunday Igboho, whose full name is Chief Sunday Adeniyi Adeyemo, fled Nigeria in July 2021 to escape arrest by security agencies following a violent raid in his home and an escalating government crackdown on Yoruba self-determination activists. Now, this is the breakdown in the order it happened. Now, DSS raided his Ibadan home on July 1, 2021, and the operation turned violent. 2 of his aides were killed, several others arrested, and then DSS later claimed they discovered arms and ammunition in his residence, a charge Igboho denied. Now, the federal government accused Igboho of stockpiling weapons and threatening Nigerian sovereignty through his campaign for Yoruba nation secession. The Attorney General of the Federation then, Abubakar Malami, publicly declared him wanted for allegedly inciting violence and undermining state security. Anticipating arrest, Igboho went into hiding immediately after the DSS raid. Now, Igboho fled Nigeria for Benin Republic in July 19, 2021, intending to travel onward to Germany, where his wife and family live. He was, however, arrested at Cotonou Airport by Beninese authorities on Nigeria's request. After several months of legal battles, diplomatic negotiations, he was released in March 2022, but restricted from leaving Benin until October 2023, when he regained full freedom. Now, the question here is, regained full freedom in Benin Republic, but still facing charges of treason and undermining the nation's security, and the same similar offense that Nnamdi Kanu has allegedly committed, secession, right? And the question is, Igboho is in Nigeria, working freely, eating freely, enjoying all his fundamental human rights. And Nnamdi Kanu, who now, according to the Nigerian, the federal government, accusing him of the same crime that Igboho had committed. And let it be known that Nnamdi Kanu has not been convicted by any court as of now. So the question is, why is Sunday Igboho walking free and not facing charges? And Nnamdi Kanu is being detained over similar accusations, allegations as it were. And Nnamdi Kanu's life, according to medical reports and the reports of the Nigerian Medical Association, is hanging by a thread, and his organs are failing according to the reports. Why? What exactly is going on? Why is Sunday Igboho walking free and Nnamdi Kanu is still detained despite valid court bail? What's going on? George, you wanted to add a final statement as we round up this story.
This is my understanding to the last question you asked, why Igboho is walking free and Nnamdi Kanu is being detained. No governments all over the world will open their arms to allow a citizen to commit treason against it, seeking for dissolution of the government and division of the country. No government will allow those. Igboho has done what he did, and I believe after he faced some charges, Igboho dropped that matter. From that time till now, I don't think we've had anything again. I'm talking about the difference why it appears that the federal government have continued to disobey valid court order or judgments. Nnamdi Kanu is insistent. Even while in detention, he has continued to fight for what he believes is for self-determination. And that is the reason why, that could be a reason, that is my position, and that could be a reason why the government have continued. But like you pointed out here earlier, several persons on head grants were released. I am not even talking about the head grants now. I'm a strict follower of the law. I'm not even talking about the head grant. I'm saying that a competent court of jurisdiction has granted him bail. On that is where I'm standing. I'm not talking about the head grants now. Head grants could be made up. Could be made up. I'm not saying it was made up. It could be made up. But I'm saying that the court has granted that this man, based on the charges that the federal government was pursuing against him, was not exactly what it is. Therefore, that this man is free. So I am against the federal government for still insisting on keeping Nnamdi Kanu as against a court judgment. That is where I'm standing. So for me, like my brother said, I am also appealing to the conscience of the president, the Attorney General, and all the other people who are directly or indirectly involved in the continued detention of Nnamdi Kanu to see that Nnamdi Kanu is released, so that if there are health issues, he can go and attend to it. And not just that, we need peace in Nigeria. The Igbos today control 5 states by geographical location and all that. They control 5 states. Their population is so massive. Their input into the economy of Nigeria, you cannot talk about Nigeria without talking about that. All over the world, they are there in all professions and all that. So these people are not a people that you can, not even somebody who does not contribute anything that you can trample on because they have that right to life and all that. So what we are saying is that the federal government should unconditionally, given the fact that the court has ruled, they should unconditionally release Nnamdi Kanu so that the man can go back to the southeast and probably look for a way to reconcile some of these differences. What are we talking about? State creation, other things that the man talking about marginalization and all that. Look at the areas where he's pointing. In our place, they say where a child is, why crying, pointing. If his father is not there, the mother is there. There must be something that is actually making this man to act the way he's acting. Why don't we sit down on a round table and look into this thing inwardly and see how we can resolve it amicably without allowing the country to implode.
Right. Very interestingly, you talked about the treason charges against Nnamdi Kanu on account of self-determination. And one would say to a large extent, self-determination is not exactly criminal. It is recognized in international law. In fact, United Nations Charter, which Nigeria is part of, 1945, Article 1, subsection 2, states that one of the UN's purposes is to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of people. Now, International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, ICCPR, 1966, Article 1, subsection 1 declares, all peoples have the right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. African Charter on Human Rights, African Charter on Human and People's Rights, ratified by Nigeria, Article 20, subsection 1 states, all peoples shall have the unquestionable and inalienable right to self-determination. So in essence, international law recognizes the right of people, especially distinct ethnic, cultural, or national groups, to pursue self-determination peacefully, Now, the question now will be, under Nigerian law, what does it apply? But what, like you have said, Nigeria is also part of these laws, these charters that I have mentioned, these 3 charters. Nigerians are part of it. And the African Charter on Human Rights and People's Rights was ratified by Nigeria. So what exactly are we talking about? Now, the question now is not secession. The question is, if these people are agitating, and they are citing marginalization, they are citing oppression, they are citing a whole lot which they can prove, right? Why not listen to their cry? It's very important to note at this point in time that, let's look at Katsina State, for example, where the government is actively negotiating with bandits, where the government is actively negotiating with terrorists, where terrorists are coming out to hold press conference in a sovereign nation, and it's okay. And I've not heard the federal government come out to condemn that action and say, oh, we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Every government negotiates.
Oh, hold on, I am telling you what is. Since Nigeria is, I do not want to go back to the President Bola Tinubu's speech on Independence Day that Nigeria is winning terrorism and the war against banditry. But the question is this hypocritical position, going by the position the government has taken so far in handling terrorism, banditry, unknown gunmen across the states, and then a group of people saying we are being marginalized? If the government or states could negotiate with terrorists, why not look at the cry of a people who are saying they are being marginalized and hear what they have to say and address those issues so that the agitation will stop? I need it to make sense to me. I need people to make it make sense. Before I get back to you, Jackson Lekojo, please.
As a security expert of global repute, there's no part of the world that negotiate. There's no government in the world that negotiate with terrorists. You don't negotiate with terrorists. Who are the terrorists? Those are those people that just come out to begin to terrorize people without any ideology. They are not freedom fighters. So let that one be like that. But the basic thing now, just like you have said, the basic thing is that Nnamdi Kanu was protesting, agitating. But the bandits, the terrorists in the northeast, northwest, and now in the north central, and they are ugly to the southwest now. Even during Buhari, there is Sheikh Gumi that will go to the forest with the aid of military and paramilitary to go and do meeting with them. He will come and release their statement. In Zamfara state, in the home local government of the present Minister of State for Defense, Bello Maradun Matawale, is the name of his local government is Maradun. A king to band a non-terrorist openly without fanfare, nothing happened to him. Then, about 2 weeks ago, you saw the terrorist conducting press statement, and you saw what their leader, you saw the numbers of magazines on him, and those guys have not been looked upon, they are not being chased after for them to bring them to book. But Nnamdi Kanu that has not even committed 1% of what those people have committed. It is that same Nnamdi Kanu that has been incarcerated. You ask a question, why is Sunday Igboho free today? I want to say maybe because Sunday Igboho speaks Yoruba. Who knows?
Considering that he's a Yoruba president.
I'm not telling you that. I said possibly because he speaks Yoruba. Maybe that's the reason. You understand? Because if you must look into the issue of Sunday Igboho and juxtapose it with the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, I think the two of them should be free. They should be working free today in this country. Yes. So, up till now, I wouldn't know, except some people are advising the president. Those people that want Mr. President to fail 2027. Because there is no way Nnamdi Kanu will die or remain in detention, and Mr. President will go to the southeast because of the northern, because of the southeast eastern population in Lagos. It lost 2023 in Lagos. This one will make him lose across the country, and northeast, southeast will be no going there for him. That is it. So, just like my brother said, we are saying release him for him to go and treat him. That could be an emotional statement. But there is a court order that says Nnamdi Kanu is granted bail. Forget about having sympathy for him. Forget about having all sorts of emotional sympathy or whatever sympathy. Follow the law. That court, there is no superior court that has vacated that order. Then why are we disregarding that court order? Are we saying the federal government is kind of disobeying court order, which will become a content of the court? So to me, I am still saying people should speak to Mr. President. Don't tell him the implication, but don't tell him to obey the law. Talk to his Attorney General to obey the law, because that is a standing order now, and there is no superior court that has vacated that order. So the most important thing, this guy, you don't do case with a dead fellow. God forbid, if anything happened to that guy, I know we may not be able to sit down in any studio talking about it. But before that happened, I think Mr. President has all the opportunity. He's the father of the nation. Mr. President can tell the Attorney General of the Federation to withdraw that case to his office, and they can grant him amnesty.
Presidential pardon.
Presidential pardon with condition. That should be done now. Whatever is agitating for, they should call people to talk to him. The one they can meet immediately, the one that they will meet in long time. But if they begin to do something, this guy will be so comfortable, and there will be peace. If somebody says there is no peace in Igbo land, if there is no peace in Igbo land, and Igbo land is this country, there is no peace in Nigeria, and we want peace in this country.
All right, very well, George.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that before the President Tinubu came on board, I was thinking that one of the first things he would do is to unconditionally release Nnamdi Kanu, given that it has been proven that he has not committed, that level of crime that should keep him, behind bars for too long. But unfortunately, this is 2 years and counting. As against court orders, the man is still behind bars. I am thinking, this is my own thinking, I may not be too certain. I am thinking that Nnamdi Kanu is to be used as a pawn, for 2027.
And you think it's going to work?
I don't listen. I said this is
right
my
now,
thinking.
Right now, it might be counterproductive.
This is my thinking.
You're right.
That maybe before the election, there might be some kind of discussion between the president or his handlers and Nnamdi Kanu, we are going to release you on this condition, because one of the things is just to, stretch him beyond the elastic limit where the man would have been tired, like, should I die here? Okay, if he has any opportunity to live there, he'll just, key into whatever they're looking for. That is my thinking. I may be wrong, because I see no reason why a president like Tinubu, who has always prided himself as a Democrat, who has always seen himself as a man that believes in rule of law, will be going against in a competent court of, a court that has given a judgment on the release of Nnamdi Kanu. It's still somehow difficult for me to, grapple that this thing is still lingering up till now. So I believe that we're thinking that maybe for 2027, they want to have some kind of negotiation. Negotiation that may not necessarily be in favor of just the president, that may also see Nnamdi Kanu holding some kind of political position.
Well, what would say to a large extent how feasible is that? Because right now the man's organs are failing according to medical reports, and if we got to go by your if I call it conspiracy theory, one would say, how feasible is that going to be? How is it? Even are the Southeasterners not too intelligent and politically aware to understand that if that move happens close to the election year, even by 2026, I mean, it will be visible to the blind and audible to the deaf that this is nothing but a political move.
So is that what you think?
Yes, it will be visible to the blind.
You are understanding it that way. Not everybody will see it from that angle.
It will be visible to the blind and audible to the deaf, because the calls for the release of Nnamdi Kanu has been going on even long before. In fact, to a large extent, one would say if ADC should come out today with the way things are right now, the tension right now in Southeast, if any political party comes out and uses Nnamdi Kanu as a campaign mantra, maybe vote for us, we're releasing Nnamdi Kanu, you'll be so surprised that the entire Southeast will go for that person.
That's exactly the point.
You'll be so surprised. Now, the point is this is an incoming, right, making that promise as against an incumbent who for over 2 to 3 years has refused to listen. They are not the same. They are not the same, to be frank, right? And the question is, why understand that this matter went to court and the judge now said, okay, the Nigerian Medical Association should look into the reports that the reports and the concerns of Nnamdi Kanu's health and give medical reports within 8 days, and also assess the DSS medical facility to be sure that, or to give their report on the state of that facility if it could handle Nnamdi Kanu's health. Medical reports have come out by Nigerian Medical Association saying his organs are failing. This man's health is in critical condition, and up until now, nothing is being done about it. And a House of Rep member, representing Nnamdi Kanu in this instance, has written to the Speaker Abbas, and he's seated there, saying the motion is out of order. The letter did it come to his office, like he is pretending from his position. And the questions he's asking the House of Rep member, he's pretending like he didn't receive that letter. Like, who does that? This is the life of a man on the line. At this point, we won't say that Nnamdi Kanu, is he a political captive at this point in Nigeria? Isn't this a violation of his fundamental human rights? The right to life, the right to dignity of human life. Isn't that a violation by a country that says it's being led by the rule of law? And at some point, we should stop playing politics with all these things. Is this thing helping the position of the federal government? And if Tinubu is planning to come back for 2027, how is this going to help him, considering what happened in Lagos in 2023? These things will play out. Like it or yes, it's going to play out. And even till now, Igbos, even in the Lagos, are still touting that they are being persecuted. And nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about it.
Someone has come over the House of Rep, the Assembly guys.
Why should we wait for it to get to this point? That's the question.
The issue here is
the truth.
The process have
yes.
begun. The process have begun. It doesn't matter how late or how early. The most important thing is that a process, to see officially to see that Nnamdi Kanu is released either on head grounds or based on the court's judgment that was given by the lower courts on the matter has begun.
Fair enough.
I believe that moving forward, not just the Southeasterners, people of good conscience, Nigerians from all tribes and all groups will begin to see the need, not just because we hate Igbos or we like Igbos, but because Nnamdi Kanu is also a human and has the right to life. Because what affects A also affects the others. If you think you can keep quiet because it's happening to Nnamdi Kanu, who is an Igbo man, tomorrow the tide may turn and may become your turn. So the most important thing, like I said earlier in my opening speech, that I commend the House of Assembly guys from Abia State and also commend the House of Rep guy and also urging other people from the Southeast, I'm talking about elected officials now, leaders, to begin to openly, talk about this. The Nigerians with conscience, with good conscience, should begin to, talk on this, because a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled not on the issue of head grants now. I'm talking about court judgment that this man has not done anything, therefore he should be released. On that, I believe the president should have acted with immediate effect to release Nnamdi Kanu. If he's waiting to use him to play politics, which is possible, it is possible, you cannot rule it out. The possibility is there that they may want to have some kind of discussion with him. Okay, let's release you. We are making you a party member. You are going to Abia State. We'll give you the ticket of our party to run for the governorship of the state. And remember, election is about the thumb. Everybody that has a thumb will vote. You are trying to here to deconstruct this, what you call conspiracy theory, because you're intelligent enough. Those who are out there may not be that intelligent to understand. They see Nnamdi Kanu as a leader. The moment they see him as someone who will become a flag bearer for a particular party, you see them voting. And if the total number of parties that will vote for him are more than the person that will vote for the other candidate, he wins and he becomes the governor. These are possibilities. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that these things are possibilities.
All right. Jackson Lekod.
What I said, you want to favor me. If you want to favor me, do I really need to beg? You understand? Then that is that. 2, it is not even that you want to favor me, but you want me to beg for my right? No. If they want to even tell him to become UN Secretary General, is it not when he's alive and he's in good health? Whatever they might be promising to give him in the future is only when he's alive. Like I've said, do you do case with a dead man? You don't do case with a dead man. The basic thing is not issue of favoring Nnamdi Kanu now. Standing on the order of that court, release Nnamdi Kanu, grant him bail. Let him be coming to court from his house.
Presidential pardon. I think this has gone beyond bail. Presidential pardon.
Whichever way, if you first of all get his freedom now.
We will accept presidential pardon because Nnamdi Kanu has seen himself as someone who has not committed any crime. So pardoning him will mean that
you pardon somebody that has not
been convicted.
Yes,
who has not been convicted.
Accept that presidential pardon.
You understand? So they are doing it to the extent that even when they release him eventually now, it won't appreciate them. No. You flog somebody because you want to give him food. After flogging him, you now take food. No. That is it. These people, the mentality of saying Igbo people will suffer. No. We are all Nigerians. Igbos are everywhere. The Hausas are everywhere. The Yorubas are everywhere. We are interconnected. We have intermarried. We are doing a lot of my business associated at the Igbos. I can't do without them. Let this one not damage this relationship. That is it.
All right.